Well, folks, it's been about an hour since we applied this Hydrocal and grout, and as you can see, it's beginning to dry out. I did go back with my spray bottle after we cut the video and sprayed this pretty good to wet it. That's why this looks like it's wet right in here. Our plan was originally to put a darker base on, and I didn't really get it as dark as I thought I should. So we're going to try something else. This is grout in my McDonald's cup. I have a light gray. I have a red that's called Adobe. And I have what's called a dark gray, which I think is the black. So I think I just labeled it wrong. So we're going to try a little bit of the gray, and I'm using my painter's brush. I'm not sure what you call that, but that's my brush to use. And we're just going to dip it in there, and we're going to try a little bit. See what happens. I'm going to go to the darker gray, and I'm going to try to fill that area in right. Now, it may appear that we got way too much on it, but just bear with me for a little bit, and we're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna throw a little red in there since we got red all around. If this turns out to be a disaster, then we shall go and show you how you cover this back up and start over again on it. What I'm trying to do is get this black in these cuts that are in there. You can see the dust coming off of this, so if you need to wear a little respirator, this would probably be a good idea. The rocks that we did on the top, the grout, they came out looking very good, I think. A little red on this one. All right, now what we're going to do is to take our spray bottle, and hopefully our results are okay. Start at the top, and we're just going to wet this down. You see the dust coming off of it? Also, what you're going to see in here, some of this stuff's going to go in cracks. Now, oops. Steve, is the camera able to pick up those that water run?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Looks pretty good. A little dark run. Oops, water again. Again, we have the cork board under the track, the home sort board's under that, and any plywood it's mounted on has been painted. So, Steve, I think what we'll do is let that dry out. You see the areas that maybe is a little dark looking? Maybe right there we need to do a little bit.
Not really. It looks pretty natural.
Yeah, not too bad. That's pretty dark, but it's going to dry a little bit. So, we'll stop the video. We'll wait an hour or so and come back and take a look-see. Okay, well, this is Ron, and Steve and I are back. We're going to try to mix another batch up while we're waiting for the previous one to dry, which will probably take overnight. This is called sandstone grout color, and not sure how this is going to come out, but it's going to be dark initially, but it's going to dry out. I got a lot of dust coming off that. Trying to get that where you can see. The idea is mix this up before we put the water in it. Won't get it 100%, but get most of it. I'm going to try to add some water, and again we want to go light on the water. Sometimes I try to push this back and pour the water into the side so it goes down to the bottom area. You can put water in here first if you have it mixed. Just put water in a cup. If you have the grout and the hydrocal pre-mixed, that'll work fine too. More of a matter of preference. Hope I didn't get too much water. Maybe not. I have probably too much mix here because it's pretty hard to stir. Almost too much water. It will, as it dries, sets up, tend to thicken up. Oh, that's looks like chocolate icing for a cake, maybe. That's pretty good mix, right? See that? Pretty good. All right, Steve, put the camera back over on that bluff. We're going to try to put some on that area. See how it does. Be sure that you cover your track and everything else that you don't want this on. All right, here we go. Just slapping it on. Throwing mud on the wall. Heard an old saying politically, just throw it up against the wall and see what sticks. And this is literally what we're doing. This is going to probably be a pretty good sandstone color. Watch your outcroppings overhang. This is pretty tight clearance for the cars that pass through here now. And it wouldn't take too much for cars to clip it. I think we got the right amount mixed up here actually. Pretty good. Just a little water in a cup. See if we can get the last good bit of this stuff out. Okay, I like to put some clear water in my mix cup and stir it around a little bit. By the time I get out to the water hose, wash this out, it will hopefully come out of there. If not, I just throw it away. Oops, I'm got a mess here. Alright, now take our knife and we'll go back and work some of this stuff. I'm not sure that if you're left or right-handed, you don't have a tendency to work these angle cuts all the same direction. So try to remember to go back and work it at different angles. One of the keys I found with the scenery is not to have any square 90-degree angles. All angles need to be as irregular as you can make them. Sort of the principle with STEP technology on aircraft. They just don't have any. Try to avoid the 90-degree angles. That keeps the radar from bounce it back to the transmitter. Now I'm gonna switch over to my palette knife. Quite a few gashes in this, so I think, Steve, what I'm gonna do is spray some water on there, get that wet a little bit. And that doesn't hurt anything. Have a little water. Actually, when you're working with concrete, and through pouring it, you use water sometimes to help make it manageable in the curing process. How's it looking, Steve, from the camera's angle?
Looks real good.
We got enough cuts in it, or we need some more cuts in here? We use the tack hammer after this dries, and you make these cuts with the palette knife. You can actually come back and tap it with that tack hammer, cause it a lock to fracture between where the cuts are. It gives it a very realistic looking effect. Okay. Scrape this back away from what will be the edge of the track. And again, the pieces that fall off when they dry, they look pretty good. They even look about as real as you can get. Pretty good there. Now this section that we did about an hour ago, it's beyond working with as far as making any marks in it with this knife. It's already dried up pretty solid. Only thing is, the color's going to change the more as this dries, so we're really going to have to wait till overnight. So this section that we just did, we'll let it dry overnight, come back tomorrow with the next session, take a look at both colors. If this turns out to be a little dark, we'll try a trick that we use with some white grout, and we might be able to light this up pretty good. Shadowing effect looks good so far the way this is drying. Okay, Steve, I think that'll do it for now.
Okay.
We'll let this go tomorrow.
All right, let me
Cut it down. I'm going to do one more right there. Like that color. Color looks good on it.
pan this real quick and then we'll wrap it up.